Hello everyone, it is Mystery here, and today I just want to talk. I just want to talk about some things Darktide. Did you know we are 50 days from 2021? Wait, 2021? Fuck. I hope we're not going back in time to then. 2025, Jesus. January 1st, 2025. So, I'm kind of making this video with the hopes, the vain, desperate hopes that somehow Fatshark hears what I have to say here. I'm gonna try to put together the things that I think that, like the title card said, some really good things that they've been doing that I want to encourage them to do more of. I think they're on the right track for some things that definitely need some work. There's only a couple of those, and then something that I think is borderline ruining the game. Especially, it has really been irritating me as of late. So I'll save that rage for the very end of the video. But let's first talk about some nice things. And if you could, I have this goal personally of someday Fatshark reaching out, or me being able to be in contact with Fatshark and get these ideas, be a representative for them, because I love this game and I want it to succeed. And I think they need more contact with people who play the game like religiously and are like always online and are always thinking about it and stuff like that. So I'd love to have that message to them. If you could like and subscribe and comment and do whatever you can to boost this channel, to boost this video, so that perhaps they might see it. I know they have to watch some sort of Darktide content, right? We still see videos on the launcher, so they are seeing Darktide content. But I don't know if they ever see any Darktide content that actually talks about the game itself and is like, even mildly critical. But to not be critical, if they do see this video, Fatshark, you have been doing an amazing job. This is the good part of the video. This is the I'm buttering you up. You've been doing an amazing job, especially the last 3 or 4 months of this year. We just had a killer mission in Clandestium Gloriana, was an amazing mission, and then that was followed up by Rolling Steel, which is a great new game type. I love the idea of that. There's a couple of tweaks I might make, but otherwise, what an intense rush of a mission. It's so great to have that little short bite. I hope you're working on a lot more of those. And then we've had a couple of massive updates or teases for updates. Specifically, the crafting update, Unlocked and Loaded, revolutionized the game. It brought people back to the game in droves, and it's sustaining numbers pretty well. I've seen a huge uptick in interest for people playing this game. And that just fills my heart with joy, because I like playing this game, and the only thing that will ever devalue playing this game for me is if no one else wants to play it with me. So I really just want more people to play, and in that vein, we have the game coming out on PS5 in early December, which is awesome, because finally we all those PlayStation players they can join in with us, and they'll understand the awesome fun we're having and how much better this game is than Space Marine 2. But most importantly for me, from sort of a top-down meta level, not a most effective tactic available level, but from a big picture, having the PlayStation development be over, having them on the same platform as us, means that whatever dev time or whatever resources are being devoted to that can now be shifted to producing content for the game, because that is what is going to keep this game alive and thriving through 2025. Say what you will about a game like Helldivers, but Helldivers had an amazing first few months after launch because they were constantly churning new guns, new scenarios, new planets. There was always something evolving about the game. I think that Darktide has been a little on the slow side for that sort of stuff, but I've noticed this significant uptick in commitment to releasing new things in this last quarter of the year that I'm really hoping continues. And that has been exemplified by nothing better than the crafting update being followed only a month and a half later by introducing Havoc. I think Havoc is a great idea personally. I've seen a lot of negativity about it, but I think it is exactly what they need to be working on in order to extend this game in a multiplicative way. And what I mean by that is, yes, you can print more maps and you can print more guns and stuff like that. But when you introduce new foes and new challenges, it multiplies the fun that you can have with all those guns on all those maps by this whole other, integer. And so you end up with a game that is 1.3 times more, more playable. And it also really, like, the Havoc game mode really appeals to a core audience that I know Fatshark is aware of, like the ultra tryhards, the people that are still playing Vermintide 2 on, Kata 3, Deathwish, like, Dutch Spice, like, crazy difficulties. Those players are absolute diehards who will play this game for, 5 years to come. And they have to also realize that where their bread is buttered, I guarantee so many of those players are buying tons of stuff from the cash shop. They're very committed to this game. They love this game and they want it to succeed, just as I do. So I think it's a great idea to offer this as something for them. And it's for all players, but it's also for, like, tryhards as well. So very glad to see that. Something that I really, really hope for 2025, and I don't know if you have this cooking, Fatshark, but my biggest hope would be a new type of enemy. I think that's another one of those things where it's a multiplier, and I mean a new race of enemies like Beastmen from Vermintide. Maybe don't make them as annoying as Beastmen, but like something like that. That is like another multiplier, right? If there was another whole enemy type in the game, every mission would get a fresh coat of paint, basically, where you're playing it with this completely different appreciation because you have, this entirely different enemy presence on the level. There's been a lot of talk about Gene Stealer cults, and I think we've been teasing it for a while, so I'm really hoping 2025 is the year for that. But otherwise, keep up the good work on the maps. They're beautiful, and I love the operation thing. I really hope that the operations can start coming out, because they're so much smaller. I'd love to see a quick and consistent release schedule for those, because that's the sort of content that could be built up into something considerable fairly quick. Okay, so that's the good stuff out of the way. Let's go on to some bad stuff, and I'm going to keep it pretty light. There's only like one thing that I think is really, really in Fatshark's control that I want to address as bad, and that's the events that they've been releasing. I appreciate these events from the perspective of, yes, they give you resources. Resources are very valuable, especially to new players, and they give you a reason just to play the game. You see an event pop up, you're like, oh yeah, why not? I'll go load that game up. Might want to catch some extra resources, get a new frame or whatever. First of all, the frame for this last event is ugly as hell, so no thank you. But the events, we've had 3 of them in the last quarter. There's Herald of Admonition, Unrelenting Hordes, and Grandfather's Gifts. And I made a video ranting about Herald of Admonition at the time, and now on retrospective, that was the best of the 3. Because at least in that one, yeah, the dark was annoying, but at least you got ambushed by Brenda Karnak, or the Herald of Admonition, or whatever you want to call him. And it was kind of like, it was kind of thematic and interesting. This most recent one, Grandfather's Gifts, is like nothing. Like, you just have annoying exploding enemies that, most people know how to play around. The one with Unrelenting Hordes was kind of even worse. It's just yeah, hordes are a little bit tougher. I'm just not blown away by those. And then add to it the fact that the challenge, the way you get the resources is just playing the mission over and 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 over again, 12 times or whatever to unlock. Or is it 15? Did I not do enough over and over and over and over? You have to play these missions 12 or 15 times in order to get all the resources out of the event. That's just too much, man. And I fully understand what they're doing with these events. I get it, right? The last 2 events specifically, the Grandfather's Gifts and the Unrelenting Hordes, those are 2 of the mutators that are going to be part of the new Havoc game mode. Maybe they'll have 2 more events for the last 2, because they said it's going to release with 4, or maybe they won't, and there'll be a couple of surprises in there for us. But I totally get that, but it's just that on their own, these events aren't anything, and they're infrequent enough that when you tease this as an event, air quotes there, it is a bit of a letdown when you get in and it's just oh yeah, just play this mission with it has these enemies that kind of do they're a little bit different, and play it 10 times for me, thanks. That just kind of sucks. Oh, and a bunch of Beasts and Urgles, because everyone fucking loves Beasts and Urgle. By the way, Darktide or Fatshark, if you didn't know, everybody hates Beasts and Urgle. If you could do something about those in 2025, that would be amazing. But so yeah, I understand also that this is very low rent content, and by that, what I mean is like all they have to do is design that one enemy type, and then just, okay, they add a modifier to that mission, and there you go. And then just the event is just, here's some resources. Like one person could set that event up once you have the model and like what the, rig up the enemy, but one person could put that event together and launch it to the players in like a couple hours. So it's probably very work effective to put something out for the audience, and I really appreciate that. What I'm suggesting that they do is either we need to take the events and do something with them that makes them a little bit more special. I'm not certain what. Maybe it's just like these things need to be tweaked a little bit so they're a little bit more challenging. As it currently stands, I barely feel the effects of any of these events that you've done, right? Like the enemies explode, but I really am not like, I'm not like, oh my god, everything is fucking exploding around me. It's just like, oh yeah, that enemy over there exploded like 50 feet away. With the Unrelenting Hordes, it made barely any difference. We're all power crept to shit. We've got our trauma staffs and stuff that eviscerate these things. With Herald of Admonition, those Rinda Karnak got absolutely dumpstered. I would see her show up, her health bar would be on the screen, and it would be gone in the next like millisecond. Just not engaging enough for it being an air quotes event. So that would be one change you can make. The other change is just have these be events that are every weekend and it rotates through them, right? This is something that Warframe does. Their events are like nearly always going on their alert page. They are kind of shitty, and a lot of players are like, I can't be arsed to do that. If you've done Ghoul Purge once, you've done it enough for your entire lifetime. But yeah, you could just rotate through them every week, and that would give players something to come back to, grab a couple extra resources and be like, oh yeah, well it's weekend. Maybe I'll play Darktide this weekend. I didn't play it all week. I want to get some resources for the week, get my quests done. Weekend be a great time to play. Something like that would really, really helpful. Okay. So that's the bad stuff and my sort of advice for what to do for the bad stuff. Let me know in the comments if you agree with me or if you think there's anything else really bad. And then let's talk about the ugly. This is something I'm calling this ugly and not bad because this is not entirely within Fatshark's control, but it is something that is really, really, really irritating me about the game. And it's honestly something that makes me scared for the future of this game, which is the problem with leaving, with quitters in this game. I have encountered such a plague of these quitters and leavers in my games in the last couple of months alone. It's ridiculous. And let me tell you, I personally, if you watch my streams, I understand having to go and do something else. I'll have to leave in the first 5 minutes or 10 minutes of a game all the time because my dog barks and is like, I need to go outside, something like that. And yeah, real life comes first, obviously, but that is not what I'm talking about here. What I'm talking about is person gets hit by a pox burster, they go down, leave the game. Someone gets trapped by a net and they get pulled into a horde, and I run in to save them, and as I'm saving them, they leave the game because they're like, fuck it, I got downed. I can't clip this for my fucking MLG montage. My personal favorite, yesterday, someone accidentally pulled a demon host. They left the game instantly, and so the demon host came over and killed me. And then, there's a ton of other situations where, it used to be a year ago when I was playing this game and I was pulling off a clutch. It would be me, and I got 3 allies who were all downed. And the odds of me beating this situation aren't looking good, right? These guys don't know how good I am at the game. And so, but they're hanging in there. They want to win the game. They want the resources. They want to be able to tell the tale of completing this mission. And then I'll clutch it and I'll get to them and I'll res them, and yeah, it feels awesome. But now, 9 times out of 10, when I'm in a clutch situation, you know what the first thing that happens is? A bot appears beside me, because someone who's on the ground who doesn't want to wait 5 minutes for me to kill all the enemies on the map and come and inevitably save them just leaves, and it repopulates them with the bot. And as soon as someone does that, someone else does it. And I'll be lucky if you know, sometimes I'll go into a game, it's me as a zealot, and there's like 2 veterans and an ogryn, and by the end of the game, it's another zealot and 2 psychers. Like, I've had full party swaps in the course of a game because people just won't hang in there because they don't believe that, like, you know, I can clutch the situation, or they're just playing really bad, or whatever it is. So I think there's definitely a player element to this. I think there's something with players where, like, yeah, like maybe it's just really emasculating and really frustrating, like, to lose this game. And I've been encountering it a lot more in Maelstrom difficulty, Auric Maelstroms. But I think that is where I want to say this is an ugly thing, because it's also tied into Darktide's game systems. Because if you think about it, there's another reason why players are constantly leaving in Auric Maelstroms, and it is one of the penances. It is the penance that awards you the Auric Storm Survivor title. Players are constantly fucking leaving Maelstrom games. If I see a player under level 45, I am highly suspicious that they're going to leave the game if they don't have that title, because they are trying to get the title, and if they go down, they lose their progress on the title if the game detects that they went down. So players who are dead, if they die. So players who die or go down and are about to die, they'll just leave the game. And I know they're leaving the game and they're going and getting queuing up in other games, because I have people in my comments or in my like, you know, my live chat when I'm streaming, they're saying, oh, that guy showed up in my game like at this time yesterday, joined in halfway. And like the amount of that's going on, it has to be related to that system. You also have some nasty interactions with, there's a particular weekly quest that is complete 3 missions or complete X missions without any players dying. And so as soon as they die or anyone dies, you'll see players leave the game for that. But that's a lot less common. But generally, like, this has to be a problem on 2 fronts. It has to be a player mentality thing, because it cannot just be that, you know, Maelstrom is, they want to get that Maelstrom title. There's players who have it who are still leaving the game, but it also has to be some sort of game systems thing, because yeah, there's definitely a correlation with Auric Maelstrom. There's also, I think, the reason that I have been most incentivized to leave the game is the time to fail. When you fail a mission, it's very punishing, not just from the sense of like, oh yeah, you did bad, you failed the Emperor, but you are basically put in the corner. You're basically put in timeout for like a minute and a half. Because if you think about it like this, if you're about to lose a mission and you hit escape and hit leave game, you load, you have a loading screen, go right back to the Morning Star, and then you can queue up another game pretty much immediately. But if you lose the game spends about 15 seconds to determine that all the players are like incapacitated or dead, and then it fades to black, and then it shows you the cutscene of everyone's asses sticking out of all the Nurgle slime, and then it fades to black, and then it comes up with the "you failed" screen where everyone's looking all defeated, and then it fades to black, and then it goes to the loading screen, and then it puts you back to the Morning Star. So there's a huge disincentive to like actually sit through all that, and as players care less and less about plasteel and the resources they would have gotten through failing missions, they are more and more incentivized to leave the second they detect that this game might be over. And so I think that leads a lot of people just to like ditch immediately too. If they're like, oh fuck, I died, and I think there's less than a 50% chance that these people are going to get to me in any reasonable amount of time and turn this game around and we'll actually win it, I'd rather just start another one over where I'm alive and I can actually play. So there has to be something done to incentivize that. I know that we can't have like a reconnect block where it's like, oh yeah, you fucking left the game. You can't, you're not allowed to. I mean, I guess they could do that like League of Legends, where if you're a leaver, you get put on the leaver list and you can't play any games, until that game is finished or something like that. I think that would be really harsh and really severe. And I think I would run afoul of that a lot, because I do have to leave games impromptu sometimes, but I try to do it when my team is not like really, really depending on me. I don't know, guys. Yeah, let me know in the comments if you got any ideas about this, and if this has been annoying you too. It can't just be me. Literally in the video you're watching right now, in the background footage, the very first comment that was made in this game, the one guy is calling out the Ogryn for leaving the previous game. And so like the Ogren left because he thought they were going to fail. Apparently he went and joined another game and failed in that game. And then the guy from this game, I don't know whether he failed the game that the Ogren left. Who knows? But it's happening everywhere. And I just had to get that off my chest. It's been really, really aggravating me. Okay, guys. Well, hopefully that is a good enough talk about Darktide. If you enjoy the content, if you like talking about Darktide, if you like the sound of my voice, I really appreciate a like and a subscribe. Check out my members over here. They are some awesome people. We got Diomedes 22 up there. He is a philosopher. He was talking philosophy with me in the comments earlier. I didn't really understand a whole lot of what he had to say, but he seemed to really be spirited about it.
Oh no.
I've also got Steve Berger, another international man of mystery. What an excellent chef that guy is. He cooks a mean steak. You'd think he'd cook a good hamburger, but actually he's more of a steak guy. He's very high class like that. And then, of course, the rest of my lovely members, they all get access to extra bonus pics of my adorable little puppy, as well as sometimes I'll put out videos a day early for them, and also they get cool little E's next to their names. Some of them have almost reached the second tier, the second month of E, where it will change colors and evolve over time. So cool stuff. Anyway, y'all, hit that up. Become a member if that's something that interests you. Otherwise, just support me in the freeway. Like and subscribe. Appreciate y'all for watching. See you next time. Mystery out.